Today we are meeting with Rickard Börjel, IT manager at Systembolaget. Systembolaget is serving millions of Swedish customers online and in their over 450 stores. We will talk about Systembolaget's digital transformation, the cloud journey that they're on, and hear Rickard describe challenges and opportunities. Hi Rickard, what's on top of your agenda right now?
Hi, as always, continuously developing our services and way of working to be even more impressive to our customers and employees.
What are the components that you are trying to design and control and perfect?
Our online store is one thing, our app is another thing, and then again with our processes and way of working at stores are very crucial to us, so everything will be one united experience for our customers.
And if you could describe sort of that user experience that you're aiming for, what is it from a user perspective?
We really want our customers to learn so much about how to combine food with beverages. So that is one thing we want to inspire our customers really to, again, learn and interact, and in that way make good choices. And we also want to make an experience that helps our customers to making sustainable choices as well. And of course, inform about the negative aspects of alcohol as well, combined with the in-store, online store experience. I just want to point out that that is the same for our employees. I mean, we also want our employees to be more self-sufficient and have their own way to do things and not be too string that they need help from others, again, to make the best service to our customers.
What's the connection between this user experience that you're aiming for and the cloud?
To me, the cloud is a key enabler to make just personal experiences. One thing is that we can access the services anywhere from any time and how we want it. And we can connect with other people with no physical boundaries. And from a technical point of view, the connection is that we need this high scaling of computer and analytics. There's a lot of data going on, and the cloud enables that as well. To me, this is some kind of an industrialization of IT, a new shift, and because we can automate things that are tiresome and sometimes expensive. And again, we can scale our services and do complex computing on demand. I think on demand is the key word here as well.
What are you using machine learning for at the moment?
We're just in our beginning of the journey, so I'm not sure if we have tapped into that possibility yet, but we have made some tests with AI when it comes to proposing a similar product. You know, if a product is out of stock in one store, we have an AI that can recommend 3 other options in the same fashion that our personnel does in our stores today. I've been doing for a long time.
So for you personally, Rickard, in what way does your job become more interesting and fun when you're working with cloud technology?
To me, I can be more agile and speedy actually, and test more. Instead of worrying making big bangs, I can go incremental forwarding in the development. And I think that is one big thing working with IT and working with the cloud, just to be incremental and being more better, making better solutions in steps instead of waiting and making just a big launch now and then. We have just launched our online store in the cloud, and I believe that the work with the online store has made us, we have had a beta site for a long time, and we have learned how to scale up and scale down this infrastructure. And historically, that has been a thing that we need to plan for a long time and wait for release windows in a traditional way.
How does it enable cooperation with others outside of company walls, people around you, partners? Is that different?
I think today, in these days, that working from home is actually a quite good example, because we have everyday meetings with our partners and inside Systembolaget, of course, enabled by the cloud. So from a social and collaboration point of view, the cloud is crucial nowadays. And the thing is, our team's enrollment was already going on before COVID. So I think we have adopted quite well, actually, thanks to the cloud.
Mm. You're also migrating to a cloud platform that has been going on for a while. What do you wish you had known before starting that process?
I think it's divided in two ways. The answer to that, one thing is the user-facing cloud services like Office 365, where you get the opportunity to focus on the end user experience more than the tech behind it. And in hindsight, I think we should faster adopt the maybe way of working to how to help change, and not in a technical perspective, on behavioral perspective. So because the experience is key. So I think we need to work more with that, and if we could have done it again, we should have started there more. When it comes to the infrastructure part, when we use cloud as infrastructure, that is a totally new thing. Actually, it doesn't work the same way as the old things does. So maybe we should have started better working through our requirements and understand that this is a new way of working as an IT pro. And for that, we rely a lot on our IT partners to guide us, to make us better, actually. And so we can articulate the right questions moving forward.
Would you say that this changes the way your colleagues in the non-IT functions in Systembolaget expect things from you, expect services from you? It sounds more like you're a project organization.
Yeah, it does, really. I mean, it's a good analogy because, again, Office 365 and ServiceNow and those platforms, they are like just products in the eye of the user. So they expect someone to tell and help, okay, how do I use this? And now it changed again. Okay, what can I do now? And you need to more focus again on knowledge management and that kind of support that you normally maybe not have been doing before, because things have been stayed the same maybe for several years. So you didn't, maybe historically might not been, it doesn't be necessary to work with articles that change all the time and launch plans and communication plans like you need to do now.
How many colleagues are you in the IT team?
In the IT team at Systembolaget, we are around 60 persons, and we need to remember that we are also we rely a lot on IT suppliers because we outsource a lot. So in that sense, we are several hundreds of people working for Systembolaget IT.
If you now looking back and looking at the journey you're on, if you could design the perfect IT organization to support the cloud journey, what would it look like, and what kind of capabilities and competences would this team have?
I think we should be more service or product oriented, and very, very, very focused on the user experience and the customer experience. And I think the tools that have been used in other industries like design thinking could be a good thing to put in the IT box more as well. And because it needs to get a deep understanding of the behavioral needs more than the efficiency needs or the technical needs, so to speak.
So user journey mapping and working with trigger material to understand user behavior, something that you would put more time into?
Yes, really. Because I believe also that the cloud, the thing is we bring our private experience of the cloud into the workplace. So we need to think more that our colleagues are like consumers in a private way, and it's not the divide between work and private. I think it's a little bit blurred. We expect the Wi-Fi to be always on. We expect the computers to be smashing. We expect this platform just work just as good as at home. Those techniques are quite good also when you work with security, because you have backside of the coin, the other side of the coin, where you have a fraudster that might doing some kind of intrusion, and you also need to get down into the minds of those designing how the services needs to work. So I think you can combine the customer user experience and the security experience, so to speak.
What do you expect from your IT partners to support you with going forward? Will the demands on how they support you be different, do you think?
Yes, I think we need to have better mutual roadmaps of things, and not think of operations like a steady state, because everything changes. So we need to operate in a changing environment. So I think it's important that our suppliers have a clear point of view on how to develop their standard services and match them with our development. So we don't have the same deal for several years so to come. I think the workplace arena is quite a good example, because historically a digital workplace could be quite a static thing that you could run for 5 or 7 years with the same concept. But now it turns all the day, so you need to have good plans together to make that a good experience. And you get it from the cloud. So I mean, it's better to just embrace the change and make it happen. And that is one thing I would point out as well. There's a lot of data in cloud, and I think it's good to embrace data in that way, because you can see where the digital breadcrumbs from all your users, what they use or might not use, and depending on what your goals are, you can be more spot on targeting specific user groups, asking them, hey, why aren't you using this product that much? What's the problem? How do you feel? What is the experience? It might help them, instead of making a broad traditional communication. Hey, everyone, start using things. You could be more specific. So I think embrace data is good as well. So people and data together, I believe, is a good thing.
Do you think that the pressure to deliver a much more personalized, much more supportive experience will increase?
Yes, I think, but again, back to making it, you want to be autonomous, you want to do it more on your own and not wait for another person, is quite a trend that we already see, and I think we will see more of in the future. I mean, we have colleagues that want to choose their tools on their own completely, and that is one thing. But again, if you have some issues, you don't want to place a ticket and wait for some technician to do things. You want to be, again, self-made in the experience at least. So automation is quite key, and I think cloud is a good enabler for that.
So do you see a trend where colleagues will sort of hack their own tools, just like we are independent today? When we write a document, it's not like we sit there and we don't know what to do. That's something that most people today can do. But when it comes to, say, creating a feedback loop for yourself, or analyzing how well you do a talk, where do I lose my listeners, how do I conduct a meeting? I mean, there's so much today where we can measure, learn, and even have a digital tool. Do you see sort of a self-service development here as well, where non-IT colleagues can start designing their own productivity and collaboration tools?
Yeah, we've seen it there, again, as always, there are some front burners, some early adopters of things. So we might not have reached the high volume on it, but I mean, we can have one example. I think media production is one area that's quite important, and we make pods more often nowadays. We make movies on our own, and we publish it on our own. We don't expect and don't want some technical support on that. We want to make it ourselves, and it's quite easy to do. There are some colleagues that make their own apps in some platforms, low-code apps, and to making them for their own work, or perhaps if they make a conference and want some agenda or such. So yes, we see some movement, some trend that people are making their own tools in another way that we've seen before. Yes.
Finally, if you had, say, 3 months of time that was on top of your regular agenda, so nobody would notice that you were completely devoting yourself to something else, what are you curious about learning more about or digging deeper into at this point?
As a buyer, a company that buys a lot of services, I would need to dig down and ask myself, okay, what kind of question do I need to stop asking, and what are the new questions to ask when buying services? There's a shift in requirements in some way, and I think you say you ask if there is something I need to learn. I think there are some things that I would like to unlearn as well, and be brave about it. That these things will not help me moving forward. So I would need to identify what are those things, and then embrace the new tech and understand more to see the opportunities, I believe.
That's a really good piece of advice to all of you, our viewers. What do you need to unlearn and leave behind in order to make room for new experience and insights and new ways of working? Thanks so much, Rickard Börjel, for joining us today and for sharing some of the things that are on your agenda. Stay tuned, and I hope to see you all soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.